issues is stand up, speak up, know your rights. Because only when you educate yourself and others about basic rights can you stop them from being violated. Over the last decade, I've worked with some of India's economic starters and thought leaders. Even I would be admired for using their voice to seek positive change by raising awareness of basic rights and equality. Together, we have reached 120 million people. It's my great honor, as a part of our Reclaim My Rights campaign and the United Nations today, to share their lessons with you.
And I'm talking about the most basic of human rights, the right to life. Because this human right ensures all other human rights.
I believe that the freedom of thought is critical for the dignity of humankind.
Freedom of expression is very important to encourage the majority of people. You need to be able to express yourself to get anything.
The right to education is so important because it is the foundation of equality, dignity, and opportunity. It empowers every child regardless of where they come from to dream, to question, and to shape their own future while strengthening the very fabric of our society. It's something worth fighting for, which every student in my country has shown with their strength, resilience, and sincerity in the last few days, and I salute them. The right to don't discriminate is so important to me because that's what makes us human. That's what makes us compassionate. That's when we care about the world we live in. When we discriminate, we create the other. We become fearful of the other. We become unjust and we justify violence. The right to a fair and free world is important to me because being unaware of our own rights can stop us in achieving various things in life and at the same time can allow someone to take unfair advantage. As a society, in order to avoid exploitation of the very basic simple rights to life, we need to be aware of the rights our constitution states.
It is very important because that everyone should be aware what they should get, what they should, how they should live their life.
The right to faith, which is the right to stall, take some rest and leisure and engage in things that make us feel good, is as important as hustling and working hard.
Because I believe without social security, no one can fully fulfill their potential.
Workers' rights are extremely important for me because workers are the backbone of our society and they're the most exploited section of our society. The right to responsibility is a really important right because actually it's the mother of all rights. People usually run the other way when they hear the word, but I feel it's the most empowering right because it actually puts the onus of protecting and nurturing your own values into your hands. And therefore, we can end up impacting society the way we think it would lend itself to create a better world for us and our future generations.
Learn more about your rights at humanrights.com.
Learn more about your right at humanrights.com.
So let's hear it. Stand up, speak up, know our rights. Because only when you educate yourself and others about basic rights, you stop them from being violent. Learn more about the rights at humanrights.com. Desde.
I think that's a great example too for us to use in promoting our own work. It's a great way to get the whole team involved in talking about speech disabilities. So without further ado, I would like to invite to the stage Dr. Vineet Kapoor, Deputy Inspector General of Police for the Madhya Pradesh Police. Give him a hand.
Good afternoon to all of you, all those sensitive people, all those committed people sitting here and deliberating on human rights. It's such an energetic moment of 2 days of celebration of human rights. All the distinguished guests here, Dr. Mary Shatulba, I'm so thankful to you to give me this opportunity and to unite all of us together on human rights. I'm very, very lucky today to be sitting here with Bertrand Ramcharan. His Excellency Ramcharanji is ideal for me. Why I say so? because when he was High Commissioner for Human Rights, I was working as a UN peacekeeper in Kosovo. And the kind of vibes we used to get from the High Commission and the kind of work we could do in the conflict zone at that time bears a lot of good memories, lot of strength, which ignites our work today also. Having worked in the UN peacekeeping missions and then with the police in India, I realized that the police education on human rights is the most important thing. Police is bereft of sometimes the education on human rights. It does a lot of training in many other fields, but sometimes this aspect remains wanting. And that's why I specialized in human rights training for the police. And through the human rights training and curriculum design, we could make a lot of changes into the whole system of policing in India. My preceding video which we saw just now had top artists from India speaking about human rights, and India being the nation of Gandhi, we draw a lot of inspiration of human rights through him and his legacy. His legacy tells us, not only in India, to the entire world, that be the change what you want to see in the world. And that is the main message for all the youth today, which I want to give. Because if you don't start thinking about making a change, the change will never come. And we are very fortunate that Youth for Human Rights International and all the organizations sitting here are so committed, and it's youth oriented. The youth orientation makes a very big difference to the entire context of human rights mainstream. Through the police, when I had been working with it and doing the education, in 2016, Mary gave us an opportunity to come to this August gathering here. Coming after 10 years, in 2026, I see the level of discussion, the level of discourse going way ahead, very high, the level of discourse going on right now. And this is a forum which is, I think, one of the most formidable forums in which we are discussing human rights internationally. Because I see a lot of forums drying up, and this forum still stands and stands very strong. So congratulations to BIHRI for creating this forum and making us all participate here with full vigor. I'd like to share, because my speech is long and there are a lot of things to do, I'll just share two stories of inspiration. And this is how you get to go where you go in human rights. I started my job in 1996, and I saw a complaint came to me, a weeping mother, a very poor woman came to me, saying her child had been held captive by a farm owner because she could not pay the tax. And he was a bonded labor, 9-year-old boy. That day, I browsed through the law and the Constitution of India, and there were so many provisions which we could have used for this. But the police station there did not know about this. So I registered the case, rescued the boy, and got the person who was doing the wrong to the court, and he got punished later on. But I realized that police need a lot of education in human rights. So it's not only the civil and political rights, it's the economic, social, and cultural rights also, which need to be understood. Similarly, when I was in Kosovo, I encountered another similar issue. My landlady was a Serbian lady, and she came crying one day and said that you stay here as our guest, but I have a small request to make. My activist friend is stranded in a village which is on the all side is like surrounded by other ethnicity, and we can't move out, and her house has been burned. We need to save her. And I asked 4 or 5 friends of mine who were in police, and this was off-duty time, and they said that they would not be. Only one agreed. And we went there, and we could save that lady and her belongings. The thought at that time was this, that why the human right realization doesn't happen the way it must happen. And this is the education, where everything falters. And that's why I've committed to human rights education of the police for my entire life now. Similarly, for the youth, I encounter a lot of poor children, poor youth, not getting advantages, not getting opportunities as they should in their life. And they get succumb to some harmful social practices. For example, in India, child marriages, domestic violence, domestic abuse, and also lack of education and forced labor. This is where the community and the police need to come together. As was said by so many artists here when we were saying that the Constitution of India is based on Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And it was constituted between 1948 and 1950, exactly after the UDHR was made. And Professor Ramcharan, I would say professor because I see him as a very literate person, writing many books. One of his books is on UDHR and the contribution of Asian continent. And within that, he mentions that how individuals from Asia and their thought processes helped in drafting different dictates of the UDHR. So all these things have made a very big difference to my life, and we have started now working with communities, with children, and maybe came last year and saw some of these children. Yeah, this photograph is iconic photograph for me. There are 500 children sitting here, all beneficiaries of our, these are all youth, and these are youth from disadvantaged communities, intersectionally disadvantaged communities. So we are working on SDGs, and we are also working on human rights at the same time. We are working for bridging gap between the police and the community through the education. And thank you for last thing I would like to say that one Sanskrit verse I would like to recite here. This is for the world peace, and it says, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashtut bhagave. That means, may all remain happy, may all remain free of illness, may all see good things in life, and may all of us rise together. Thank you.
I think English needs to incorporate a few more Sanskrit phrases. All right, and next up we have another wonderful youth delegate, this time from Pakistan. Please welcome him to the stage.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, and fellow delegates. My name is Mohammad Atiq Khoste. Where do human rights begins? Not in the halls like this one. They begin in our village, where a child has never seen a doctor. In a classroom, where no one has ever asked a young person, do you know what are your rights? I come from Balochistan, Pakistan. I am a medical graduate, but before that, I was someone who could not look away. In remote communities across my region, I organized free medical camps for the families with no access to care. And in schools, colleges, and madrasas, question. Do you know your rights? Silence was our answer. That silence is what drives this work. Because rights that are unknown cannot be claimed. Rights that are unclaimed cannot protect anyone. So we started teaching. This year I established a human rights chapter in Balochistan under United for Human Rights and Youth for Human Rights International, a platform for education, advocacy, and outreach in the communities that need it most. The progress is gradual, but it is real. Young people are speaking up in the spaces where they were once invisible. The quiet shift is how lasting change begins. A just world is not declared from institutions. It is built steadily, carefully, and the places that need it most. Youth are not the leaders of tomorrow. We are the contributors today.
And now we have our youth delegate from Colombia.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming, and this is an important event. Thank you, Dr. Mary. Ambassador, it's a pleasure for me. Doctor, Mama, I appreciate my leave. And generally, at the whole team of the organization is very important this invitation. Okay, today I will talk about my country. It's a pleasure to attend this invitation to talk about my country. Equality, we divide communities, but it's important to mention this. Also, our nations is stronger, the resilience of the people determined to building a better future. Generally, it's very common in Colombia to find a very special and friendly people with the motivation to change their history. According to this situation in Colombia, according to the violence and the social problems generally, I made one promise when I was a child to dedicate myself to service in the one principal aspect. This was the education. The education is the way to transform the society and to work with education and the human rights and the human dignity. According to this experience in my profession, around 10 years, I incorporate the young programs and the volunteer work and the community with the initiative to work together. For one hand, the opportunity to work in the education. For another hand, the opportunity to work with human rights. Because the both is very important, because especially the human rights is a universal language, and education of the people have the right to format and to attend at the schools at the university. Today, I am very happy because right now I'm working like an educator in the one university in the United States, and my message is very simple. The engineer is important because this is my profession, but it's more important the formation of the human rights. This is my mission for all the students because it's important to understand the first is the formation of the education for the people. For more, in this experience, I had the opportunity for educate around 200 people in different courses, and always the most important is the human rights and the principle in the education. The most important in this case is that the people can understand the education is a one way to create the future, and also it's necessary to send the message that human rights and education have the capacity to transform to the world. In Colombia, the situation is complicated, but thank you for the education and the social programs of the human rights and this opportunity to incentivize all the people to learn about the human rights. It's possible to change the future. My message for finish my speech is very easy. It's necessary the union or the mix between education and the human rights, because human rights is the universal language, and the education is the way or the vehicle to transform the system. Thank you.
And now we have our youth delegate from Thailand. Give her a warm up. Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, honored dignitaries, and fellow youth delegates. Amid this year theme of education for peace, I am reminded of the quote by Malala Yousafzai: "One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world." However, in the 21st century, we may add one more line into Malala's message: "One child, one smartphone, one internet connection can change the world." The greatest challenge of our generation is no longer whether technology can become more powerful, it is whether we are educating people, especially the younger generation, to ensure that they use this power responsibly and do not use it as a means to harm other people. Because the same rights that people have offline shall be protected online as well. This is guaranteed by the United Nations Human Rights Council in Resolution 20/8. My name is Topaz Newton, and I am a senior law student from Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok, Thailand, who is passionate about international law and human rights. Much of my work has focused on one question: how do we protect human rights in a world where more and more of our life exists online? This year, I had the opportunity to carry that sentence into the room where international law is shaped. I assisted the NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence as a note taker for the Government Legal Advisors Roundtable on national position on international law and cyber activities from Asia-Pacific perspective. Building on that experience, I was invited as a speaker to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand's International Law Symposium, where I advocated for a stronger legal protection for digital human rights across ASEAN, emphasizing the strong need of each ASEAN nation to publish their national position on how they apply existing international law to the cyberspace context. Nevertheless, those experiences taught me something very important. Sometimes the greatest impact on human rights doesn't begin on a conference stage or in a symposium. It actually begins after what we choose to do when we leave the room. The knowledge I gained from those discussions on cybersecurity and emerging threats is only meaningful if I apply it and turn it into the actions that create the real change. That is why this year, I will launch a community project to teach children their fundamental rights, the Sustainable Development Goals, and human rights in cyber aspects. I believe that a child who understands their rights and privacy becomes an informed adult who defends them later. I will start this project in Pai District in Mansak Province, which is a rural mountain and also a place where I spent a part of my childhood growing up there. I know what it feels like to grow up far from the country's major economic and academic centers, where opportunities often seem out of reach. I know how difficult it can be to access the same educational experiences available to students in the larger cities. That's why I want to share my story with them, and I hope that it can encourage the younger generation who share the same childhood as me. I was once afraid to speak at the conferences, but now I have the privilege of advocating for human rights at the United Nations headquarters in New York. If my journey proves anything, it is that where a child begins should never determine
how far their voice can reach. Lastly, I hope that I choose education as a means of upholding human rights because people can only protect the rights they understand. Technology will continue to evolve, artificial intelligence will become more powerful, the internet will become more connected, yet none of these innovations on their own will guarantee a more powerful or peaceful world. Only education can do that. Because when people learn to understand both their human rights and their digital rights, we do not just create informed citizens, we create a future with peace. Thank you. And next up, we have our youth delegate from Europe.
Good afternoon, everyone. Distinguished guests, ambassadors, and fellow advocates. This is Asma. Every human rights violation begins with silence. When someone thinks that their voice is too small, that doesn't matter. Every human rights actually begins the victory of it when that silence is broken. I know this because for many years I was told to stay quiet. I thought my voice is too small. I'm from Kurdistan, Iraq, the place that known hardship. I grew up watching young girls told that they have to stay quiet. Young people, they are being told that they are too inexperienced to lead, and communities, they thought that they have to deny all the opportunities to learn and thrive in the community. I chose not to stay quiet. I founded She Learns Initiative. This is a program that empowers women and young girls to lead, to mentorship, to teach them leadership and the education. Continuing that, I founded Global Local Program. This initiative is a platform connecting local communities to the community to learn skills, to find
to represent my country, Afghanistan. I stand before you today to speak for the women and girls of Afghanistan, millions whose voices have been silenced, whose dreams have been destructed, and whose fundamental human rights continue to be denied. Education is not a privilege. Work is not a privilege. Freedom of movement, dignity, and participation in public life are not a privilege. They are universal human rights. I urge the international community not to let Afghanistan women and girls become invisible. My hope is to turn what seems impossible into possible, so that one day every Afghan girl can walk into a classroom, discover their rights, and build a future. And to every Afghan youth and every Afghan girl who's watching us from behind the screen with fear, the world has not forgotten you. Your dreams matter, your voice